Prodigal Son. And he said, A man had 2 sons. The younger of them said to his father, Father, give me the share of the estate that is coming to me. And so he divided his wealth between them. And not many days later, the younger son gathered everything together and went on a journey to a distant country. And there he squandered his estate in wild living. Now when he had spent everything, a severe famine occurred in that country, and he began doing without. So he went and hired himself out to one of the citizens of that country, and he sent him into his fields to feed pigs. And he longed to have his fill of the carob pods that the pigs were eating, and no one was giving him anything. But when he came to his senses, he said, How many of my father's hired laborers have more than enough bread? But I am dying here from hunger. I will set out and go to my father, and will say to him, Father, I have sinned against heaven and in your sight. I am no longer worthy to be called your son. Treat me as one of your hired laborers. So he set out and came to his father. But when he was still a long way off, his father saw him and felt compassion for him, and ran and embraced him and kissed him. And the son said to him, Father, I have sinned against heaven and in your sight. I am no longer worthy to be called your son. But the father said to his slaves, Quickly, bring out the best robe and put it on him. Put a ring on his finger and sandals on his feet. And bring the fattened calf, slaughter it, and let's eat and celebrate. For this son of mine was dead and has come to life again. He was lost and has been found. And they began to celebrate. Now his older son was in the field, and when he came and approached the house, he heard music and dancing. And he summoned one of the servants and began inquiring what these things could be. And he said to him, Your brother has come, and your father has slaughtered the fattened calf because he has received him back safe and sound. But he became angry and was not willing to go in. And his father came out and began pleading with him. But he answered and said to his father, Look, for so many years I have been serving you, and I have never neglected a single command of yours. And yet you never gave me a young goat so that I may celebrate with my friends? But when this son of yours came, who has devoured your wealth with prostitutes, you slaughtered the fattened calf for him. And he said to him, Son, you have always been with me, and all that is mine is yours. But we had to celebrate and rejoice, because this brother of yours was dead and has begun to live, and was lost and has been found. To those who have been redeemed, and to those running the good race and fighting the good fight, I want to encourage you and remind you of our Father's everlasting love. There are times when we, like the prodigal son, are drawn away by our own evil desires. We leave, despite having known His love and His care. And after desire has conceived, it gives birth to sin. And when sin is fully grown, it gives birth to death. But this is the love of God our Father, a steadfast love that never ceases, with mercies that are new every morning. Great is His faithfulness. The only hope we have when we have gone away from the Lord, left our Father for the things of this world, is in His love and His mercy, as we call Him, the God of all comfort and the Father of mercy. We can boldly approach His throne of grace, His mercy seat. Let us never forget the nature of our God, for that is what brought the prodigal son back home, the nature of his father. Sometimes it's a long road to walk back, and sometimes on the way back to grace we may stumble and fall. But though you fall, you will not be overwhelmed, because the Lord holds your hand. The race is not to the swift, or the battle to the strong. Remember, His grace is sufficient for you, and His power is made perfect in your weakness. And just like the prodigal son, when he reached the end of his strength, his father ran toward him, kissed him, put a robe around him, and put sandals on his feet. So will your Father, when you have been emptied before Him, lift you up, clothe you with a robe of righteousness, and restore you to life. No matter how many times you may fall, know that God intends for you to be holy and true to Him. As the old hymn says, when we have exhausted our store of endurance, when our strength has failed and the day is half done, when we reach the end of our hoarded resources, our Father's full giving has only begun. His love has no limit, His grace has no measure, His power has no boundary known unto men. For out of His infinite riches in Jesus, He giveth and giveth and giveth again. May you be strengthened with all power, according to His glorious might, for all endurance and patience, with joy giving thanks to God the Father, who has enabled you to share in the saints' inheritance in the light. He has rescued us from the domain of darkness and transferred us into the kingdom of the Son He loves, in whom we have redemption, the forgiveness of sins.